yeah, just about. You know what? It just about works. I thought I would just have to get more lighting. I thought I would need more like lighting on the back. I need a little bit more down here. You can tell, right? You can see on like the chair when I lean back. You can see a little green, right? It's not so bad. It's okay. It'll do for now. Right. I finally got a bit of a background sorted out in my new apartment. And look at this. It's not 50. I thought it was going to be an even 50. I got really excited. I named the stream. It's like 53. It's fine. We got 53 horror villains here. We're doing a properly Halloween-y thing, thank God, because I've, missed a bit of the Halloween buzz around the month while I've been moving. I didn't watch horror. That's all right. That's all right. You'll learn which ones to watch a bit today, okay? We'll teach you. Don't worry. Hey, Pacemaker. Sorry I'm becoming... Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, man. Don't stress. It's okay. It's okay if you don't watch horrors, guys. We'll all learn together. Well, no, actually... Have I seen all of these? Pretty much. Pretty much. There's maybe one or two here I've not watched before. I've never actually seen Pan's Labyrinth. That's one. I've never seen that. Pretty much, though, seen them all. So we're just going to work through some of these today. We've not quite got all of our normal tiers. I decided, you know what? Not quite got enough entries here to bother with an E as well as a D and an F, We know which ones are bad. It's alright, guys. You don't need to watch horrors. You saw Saw. Classic. Amazing. Oh, wait. Do you mean the new Saw? Spiral? Oh, not so classic. Not so amazing, but it's fine. That's alright. Okay, so let's get something in each tier as we do. S. Easy. Easy. I talked about it already recently, this month. I love Scream, guys. Scream is so fucking good. It hurts me, my soul. I love it so much. Ghostface, classic, amazing, incredible villain. And it always gets to be the same. It's a bit, it reaches meme stage. It reaches kind of silly meme stage at a certain point because they are doing so much of the... Oh, I want to copy this person who was copying this person who was copying this person. It's also kind of ironic because the whole thing was just to take on things like Halloween, so it's kind of funny, but I've heard of most of them. Oh, really? Oh, you've heard the older ones? Oh, good. What Saw? Yeah. That is much better. So yeah, no, Ghostface for sure, because they have the formula down with the serial killer where they managed it. It's always the same Ghostface, and it's always got the same voice. Incredible voice actor does that. But they manage to change it up every time, And there's always the whodunit, which is a really good element to include in a horror film. I really like that. What's next here down, I'll put... Jaws. I'll put Jaws on A. Because Jaws, great villain. Classic. There's no real characterization to Jaws. You know what I mean? It's a shark. Big scary shark. They make it seem, despite, just being a shark, we kind of like to go bigger modern day with our monsters, Rampage, Godzilla, the Meg. But Jaws is classic and simple because it turns up, it's just humans, they don't have a bunch of guns or big weapons to take it out, and it feels like low stakes comparatively to what a lot of modern films go for. So I liked that a lot about it, and obviously it is a classic. There's so many unique things about that they used to make it scary, because it was like 1975 they did it. Spielberg knew what he was doing so well with that. It's so good. I watched Jaws 2. That's a classic. True. Very true. I can't watch one stream without it lagging. My internet sucks. That sucks, man. Yeah, my internet's not great in my new place. To look at chat during stream, I normally just have my iPad up. But in my room, I can't get good enough internet. So, I've got, my iPad on my mobile data, which I bought a lot of before moving over. And then I've got my computer so I can actually stream, connected by, a 10-meter LAN cable. It's a bit of a mess right now. Now TV broadband. Got to deal with them. Got to sort them out. Jaws is classic, but he doesn't really speak. I think there's no characterization to it, you know what I mean? So he can have an A. He's too classic not to. B, what's a B? I mean, this is a list of, really classic horror movie villains. It's going to be hard to put any of them in, F, That's true. What's a B? I will give... I never feel I feel like Frankenstein is a kind of... He's like a bog standard boy, isn't he? He doesn't really deserve, a Jason his ass. Oh, wait. I feel like Frankenstein... what's scary about Frankenstein? He's a He's a big guy. Looks a little bit funny. Modern day, I feel like he's very difficult to make him scary, you know what I mean? There's a couple of those old Universal monster types that, modern day, they're not that scary. You put them in a film, it's more like Frankenstein. Yeah. It's more actiony and thrillery and things like that. They don't go for the scares, really. Everyone's heard of Frankenstein? Frankenstein, in fact. Okay, yeah. Jack Torrance in the film is F. See, I know what you mean, but at the same time, I don't like The Shining, the film, okay? I love The Shining, the book. I don't like The Shining, the film. But Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance is a damn good performance, I think. I like the performance. I like a lot about like the cinematography of the film. I just think it's shit. So... It's difficult, yeah. No, that's hard to know. Leprechaun S? No. Leprechaun not S. Interesting fact for you guys, because I watched them all earlier this year. You can check back my ranking video for the Leprechaun films that I did on like St. Patrick's Day. As an Irish person, it hurts me, okay, that not once in like 8 films has the Leprechaun been played by an Irish actor. What the fuck is that? Just unacceptable, frankly. They had an English person doing it. Oh. Tragic. So that's not delightful. C. What's a C tier villain? What's not such a great villain? You know, it's maybe a little unkind, but I'll go Fright Night. I can't remember his name, but the vampire from Fright Night, not really. I didn't really think he was a great villain, original or new, and I love him. I love Chris Sarandon in the original. I love him. As a character, I kind of think, it's alright. I don't think everything about Fright Night's okay. But Chris Sarandon, he played Prince Humperdinck. So his villain, you know, he's a great villain, but at the same time, he's... In this, he's alright. He's alright. Who's cute? Abigail Cowan or Sadie Sink? Not going to be able to swear to it that Sadie Sink's over 18, you know? So... won't answer that one. Pennywise in film D, Pennywise in books S. I feel like it's the same for a lot of Stephen King villains, right? They're just so much better in the books. Although... maybe not for her. Maybe not for her. I'm going to put her on A. I always forget her name. It's like something the Hat, right? Top the Hat? Captain. Something like that. Rebecca Ferguson in Doctor Sleep. So goddamn good, okay? So goddamn good. Rebecca Ferguson is someone who I generally... I don't know. It's because she played that bitch who was trying to sleep with Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman, and then again in Reminiscence. I kept kind of going, what is this? And she was in like Mission Impossible, so I thought she was fine there. But that performance, she was so good in that. And I love Doctor Sleep. I love Mike Flanagan. I think he's so much better at adapting Stephen King than anybody else. Ever. Ever. And I love Doctor Sleep, so I'll put her up there. She deserves that. Great villain. I'll put Sharknado in F, okay? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense as a villain, you know what I'm saying? Leatherface D. It's harsh. It's harsh, isn't it? We'll talk about Texas Chainsaw in a little bit. But yeah, I think Sharknado, just no characterization as a villain. It just, you know, flies around for 6 whole films. A bit of a mess. What fan cast are you going to do? I'm going to do Halloween for tomorrow. Going to do a Halloween fan cast. New one just came out. Who's seen it? What did you think? What did you think of Halloween Kills? Who's a D tier villain, actually? Kind of... you know what? It feels savage, right? Oh, yeah, no. That's Mama, right? I hated Mama. I thought it was terrible. I did not like Mama. Oh, dear. No, I didn't think it was any good at all. Bit of crap, really, as a villain. Just kind of garbagey. You just kind of make this, like, very grey, black villain. You give them some weird backstory, usually related to children somehow. And then you try and go like, oh my god, it's such an epic thing. We should make, like, 20 of these films. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Same as, you know what? Same as The Babadook. Also, kind of garbage. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it at all. Have you got It Follows on here? That's one I didn't put on, actually. I did make this list myself. I kind of I gave up eventually trying to fit everything on. So I just kind of went, I'll just aim for like 50 iconic ones. Problem with It Follows is, what do you put as a picture, right? Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Do the selection, Fancast? What's the selection? What's that? Are you choosing between Billy or Jigsaw? Oh, right. No, it's just kind of Jigsaw. I put him, but it's Jigsaw, really. Plant from Little Shop of Horrors, eh? You know what? Not many horror movie villains get to really count as a horror movie villain while singing. So it's pretty impressive, right? I'll give him a B. Won't quite give him the A. I'll give him a B. I feel like he deserves that much. Tier today, not tomorrow. What? True. I wanted, for at least the next couple of weeks while it's still Halloween, to do like a Fancast midweek. So I thought Wednesday would be a good day for that. And then I thought, well, then I should move the tier list, right? But I'll see how it goes on tier list on Tuesdays. This could work. Annie Wilkes B. Annie Wilkes, terrifying villain. Great casting there, actually. That's a Stephen King book, Misery. And actually, Kathy Bates, phenomenal choice. Really good, again, yeah. I will give her a B, you know what? I don't think it's such a confined film. It works better as a book, that story just. So it is kind of hard to make it like really great, but she was good. She was really good in that role for sure. That's actually a really good version of a Stephen King casting before Rebecca Ferguson worked so well in Doctor Sleep as a properly good villain. Right, we got something on every tier. We just start going through it. This is Esther from just Orphan. I always say The Orphan. It's just Orphan. They're actually making a prequel film for that. So I guess she's still, Isabel Fuhrman is her name, the actress. I guess she's still into like her late 20s, surely. No, I must look young enough still to pull that off. That is kind of mad. It was an insane premise, but it was the kind of closest thing we've had to a girl version of The Omen, I guess, right? Worked well. It worked well. She was a scary villain. Actually, I'll give her a B. I don't think the film would deserve like a B so much, but yeah, I think she was really good at that. Really creepy. She's some crazy age there because she does look really young, but she was like she was like adult age, I think. So much that's creepy about that. Cujo. I mean, Cujo, you know, like, there's nothing that great about that as a film. I don't think there's anything all that great about that as a book, actually. That's another Stephen King one. Stephen King wrote, like, a solid fifth of these, right? Surely. He's been through a lot. I think I'll give Cujo, like, maybe a C. It's kind of just, after, like, Beethoven, a St. Bernard being that scary is... I hate it. I hate it so much, you know. It's like, Sharknado is a rip-off of Jaws. Everything is a rip-off of Jaws. It's an entire subsection of the horror genre now, the shark films. You ever seen Shark Exorcist, Shark in Venice? Ouija Shark. Oh, I hate Ouija Shark. My God, that's a bad one. There's a lot like it. Two-headed shark, three-headed shark, five-headed shark. They did that as a series. They didn't do four-headed shark. I don't know. Four-headed? Is that why? I don't know. They just wanted to skip straight to 5. But yeah, there are a lot of shark-based horror films. 99% of them are terrible, and then there's Jaws. And then Sharknado is one of those ones that's so bad it's kind of funny. Yeah. Jaws did misinterpret sharks. Yeah, and now all of cinema does it as well, following in their footsteps. Norman Bates, eh? Fair. He's another one who kind of maybe doesn't quite deserve an S. He's so classic, you want to put him on like S, but as a film, it's iconic for a lot of reasons, and it's great. Even watching Psycho today, a lot of other Hitchcock films, they age a bit. It's true. But Psycho, not at all. Still one of my very favourite horror films. I'll put him on A. He's close, you know? He is close to like an S. Hey, let's go, Brandon. How's it going? Yeah, he is very good. Xenomorph. I mean, again, it's like the Jaws thing, right? You can't put Xenomorph on S, no matter how much you love Alien and Aliens. Like, it's a great villain. It's great to have. It's not like characterized or anything as really interesting. It's another one for A, right? We'll put it on A. I can't not give it at least that much, right? It's very good. It's very good. Michael Myers. I feel like the weird thing about Michael Myers is it's never explained, right? Like Jason Voorhees, they kind of they get to it eventually, but he's kind of the whole thing is that he's already dead. He died as a child, Jason. So he's a ghost. He's always like a ghost. So it's like, oh, that's why he's supernaturally strong and just gets back up again when you kill him. What's up with Michael Myers? I haven't quite seen every Halloween film. I've seen quite a few of them, but I've not seen all of them. I've seen every Friday the 13th and every Nightmare on Elm Street, so that's why I kind of know more about Freddy and Jason as villains than I do about like Michael Myers or like Leatherface. I've watched too many Texas Chainsaw Massacre films recently. I've not cared for them. Don't like them. Don't like them. Scream on S, but Xenomorph on A. How? Well, it's the characterization of the villains, okay? I actually probably do like Alien and Aliens more than any of the Scream films, though I love Scream. It's close. It's very close. Have you seen the new Halloween? No. I was out of the country this weekend. I was in England seeing the NFL when it came over to London. So I saw nothing over the weekend. I've only seen Venom of the things that came out last week. I haven't seen The Last Duel. I haven't seen Halloween Kills. And I haven't seen June, though that's kind of only the pre-screening showings we're on, really. I'll see them make a lot of rip-off movies. Oh, you mean Asylum? They do. I love Asylum movies. I love watching them. You ever see the Avengers rip-off? It's Avengers Grimm. They made Avengers Grimm, and it's just like Snow White and Cinderella and stuff teaming up and they're like superheroes, and they save the world, and it's just the worst thing ever, but there's so many great, terrible Asylum films out there. Yeah, for sure. They make a lot of them. Michael Myers is probably an S, as there's iconic status within pop culture. Like, I feel like Ghostface, Michael Myers, like the serial killers are there more than Xenomorph and Alien. I guess they just don't have the characterization. They can. That's the actual personification. It's just a man, right? Makes you feel like you've got more hope of killing him, but also like, oh god, it's so scary, and like, I feel like it works of all. I think Michael Myers is the embodiment of all evil. That's fair. Okay, that's a good enough reason why he keeps getting back up again, I guess. Now, Annabelle. Another one. 3 Annabelle films. None of them are really good. I quite liked the third one, actually. I liked the style of that a lot. American Psycho, at least. Hey, Baelish, how's it going? I don't love American Psycho as a film, but I agree that, yeah, Patrick Bateman is, like, excellent. He is just so iconic in so many ways. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, you know what? Well, I'll leave him on A for now. I do think, as a film, it's just so fucking out there weird. But he is such a genius, insane character, and you would have thought we'd have had more rip-offs of him, right? We don't really. Halloween 1978 kind of sucks. I know what you mean. I feel like this is something that this would be interesting to talk about, actually. Thank you, you're welcome. This is interesting to talk about. What do you guys think about aging horror films? Because I still think most 80s, like, iconic horror films, Friday the 13th original, Nightmare on Elm Street original, they still live up for me today when I watch them back. I still absolutely love them. I just think they're so great to watch. But when I watch 70s horror films back, I feel like they have aged. Not so much like Alien, which was 79, or like Jaws, but the serial killery kind of one, like Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I don't like them. I don't like them today. I like a lot about what Halloween does, the 1978 one, but it just, I feel like it's dull, you know? I feel like it's boring. The music's great. Michael Myers as a character walking around is terrifying, but like, there's just something that really doesn't click for me watching it back. And I don't really like any of the Texas Chainsaw films, honestly. Oh, I just do not. Is Gojira and Tremors here? Actually, no. Well, Tremors, to be fair, I mean, Graboid's kind of... They could go on, but like, yeah, I probably should have put Godzilla on. As an original film, 1954, it was intended primarily as a horror film. They've kind of strayed away from that so much, but I guess like so of the more recent Halloween, or like Alien films, they're not really scary anymore. Sharknado really doesn't deserve to be here, but I just put it in for the meme. Annabelle, yeah, I do quite like the third Annabelle film, partly because I like Madison Eisman a lot, and like McKenna Grace was in it as well, right? Like, I thought it was just a really good cast of young people, and Annabelle as a character works better when she's scaring kids. First Annabelle film, is the worst, because she was trying to scare like adults, and it felt weird. Second one was set in like a care home or whatever, much better. Third one was set out the Warren's house. You made it feel like a proper like Conjuring 2.5 kind of thing. I was really into that. As a character, as a villain, I'll give her like a B. She is already quite iconic, despite having been introduced quite recently. But, yeah, put Spork Monster in the list. Spork Monster! I was almost putting on, like, things from Stranger Things, and then I went, no, I should make it like a horror movie villains one. But for sure. Is Slappy here? No. That's fair. That's fair, actually. Yeah, Slappy is another terrifying doll. Why, really randomly, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the channel before, really randomly, I watched and I was like 4 years old, okay? But I watched there was an old Goosebumps episode from when it was a TV show. It was Night of the Living Dummy 3, okay? And I watched that when I was like 4, and I think I peed. And I was terrified. I had nightmares about it, genuinely. And then I was teased about it by my cousins and my sister for years. It was horrible. God damn. But then I watched it again when I was 15, and I was like, oh, it's not even it's not even intended to be like really scary or anything. Like, that's embarrassing. Hey Ross, how's it going? So no, Slappy's not here. Could be. Is Lake Placid here? No. Again, a lot of creature feature kind of things I left off this list, but to be fair, I just kind of went through a couple of big magazine, like, best, most iconic horror films of all time, or horror villains of all time, lists, and I just took from those. So they're all leaving these people off. We shouldn't let them. Also, Spork Monster is like A. He's terrifying, absolutely. Yeah. Jason is S. Don't at me. Jason is S. It's kind of obvious why. I don't really think we need to get into that, but I love Friday the 13th. I love the style. Like, you look at Friday the 13th, it gets so bad. It gets so bad. Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X. Terrible. Terrible films. But it took until Jason Takes Manhattan, which was like the 8th film, I think, for it to get to a point where I was like, no, yeah, this is bad. Like, before that, even when he was fighting a telekinetic girl in part 7, I was kind of on board with everything they did. And part of that is just because, like, they're all the same, you know? Up to that point, he's always in the camp. He's always at the lake. He's always killing teenagers. And it just worked, you know? For me, it was kind of like Saw. Saw went on way longer than it needed to. Got really garbagey. But it was always watchable just because it was the same thing. So I think Friday the 13th for me is one of my very favourite horror film series. Much more so than like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw. I just think there's like a kind of weird consistency there that I'm really into. Hellraiser's a weird one, right? Oh, hey King, how's it going? What's happening now? We got some horror movie villains here. We got some classics. We got some stuff on the list, you know. Yeah. I don't know. Hellraiser, I've never gotten into. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a couple, and I've just kind of thought, like, alright, you know? Alright. It's alright, you know? I don't know what it is. It's just, because it is one that, again, it's got, like, that many films, doesn't it? It's got a similar level to, like Leatherface, probably, right? He's not on the level of, like, Jason. Nobody's on the level of, like, Jason except for, like, Michael Myers. Those are the longest ones. But he's okay. Like, he is, it's quite an iconic look. It's got quite something going on, but I mean, that just seems impractical, honestly, doesn't it? Yeah. And then this is I always forget their names. The Armitage family from Get Out. Oh, Get Out's so good. Get Out's so good. And them as this family, like, what they're doing, like, oh, it is terrifying. And I love it. I really love that as a film. They're not that iconic as villains or anything. Like, it's the style of the film, what they do with it, that really made it, like, top tier. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And I mean, can we talk about Bradley Whitford? I love Bradley Whitford. That's, if you don't know, that's the dad from Get Out. And he was also in The Cabin in the Woods as, like, the main guy working for the evil corporation. He's become, like, an iconic, like, horror guy since The West Wing. If you've not seen The West Wing, best TV show of all time. I love it. And he was one of the main characters in that. But then he kind of went on, and what he did was like a lot more horror stuff, and it's actually really interesting. He's kind of iconic for some different really interesting horror films. Freddy Krueger, I mean, yeah, he just has to. He just has to, you know. There's a couple of these really long-running horror ones that I'm just like, don't actually think they deserve like that high a placing. But those four, absolutely. Freddy has the most characterization. They, much like Ghostface, they found a way for him to talk and still be, like, terrifying, you know? And, I mean, he just yells bitch a lot, but it works. It just works so well. Are you going to put Jennifer check? I actually watched Jennifer's Body for the first time this week. I'd never actually seen it. I haven't got her on here, but yeah, you know what? She does deserve it, because she is iconic. He's dope. He was in Billy Madison back in the day. He was in Billy Madison back in the day. A classic film. A fucking insane one again, but a classic film. This is The Goat from The Witch. Another modern one, only in the one film. Kind of iconic in his own weird way. Not like not like real, like I liked that film, but he's kind of like, he's like a C again, you know? There is a portion of my mark here is on like longevity as a villain. A lot of like her, if she'd been in like more films, she could be like S tier, you know? And Norman Bates, we shouldn't talk about what happened after Psycho in terms of him as a character, but like classic. And again, like Patrick Bateman, yeah. I think they did an American Psycho too. I never saw it. I think they did one, yeah. Yeah. Candyman. I've always said that of like you look at the guys who play Michael Myers in real life, they look like nice guys, or the guys that play Jason in real life, and you look at Robert Englund, he looks like quite a nice guy, he doesn't look that scary or anything in real life. Tony Todd always seems that scary and intense. Like, he was in Final Destination just to be that scary and intense. And there was some really terrible film called West in Hell he was in that I saw, and he was that scary and intense. And I think he was the good guy in that. No, he wasn't. I can't remember. I've blocked most of it from my mind. Really tragic film. Candyman, I watched all of these for the first time quite recently. I gotta say, the second one actually, like Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh, right? Interesting name. Actually, still okay. And like the third one, they just got some girl from Baywatch to be the lead, and it was really bad. But he was just doing the same thing, and it was always creepy and intense and kind of interesting to watch. And he was doing this like, love me, I'm so like, it was very different, and it remains different. There's not been that many like rip-offs of it, I feel. The kind of horror villain that wants you, like, that's different. I'm into that. I'll give him an A. Yeah. I don't think any Candyman film is great, honestly. But I think he's really good as a villain. I'll give him an A. Okay. Ring Girl. just Ring Girl. Just Ring Girl. That's, again, even more so, I would say, than Grudge. Ring Girl, just iconic, right? In terms of pop culture. Strong. And the premise, just every time she does it, that's fucking terrifying. That makes your skin crawl. How high can she really go? I'm going to go B for her, and then I'll maybe go like C for Grudge, because I feel like Grudge, not as much, right? Did anyone see that Grudge TV show they did? Like a Japanese, it's called like Ju-on Origins, because Ju-on is the name of it, of the Japanese series. Awful. Weird. Really weird. Didn't enjoy it, no. Hannibal Lecter, I mean... Right? And he's... Again, he kind of has to be. He kind of has to be. It's just, he's that good. And it's actually, like, a good series. There are not every single one, but pretty much. It's got good films outside of The Silence of the Lambs, but he is so... incredible. That's such an incredible performance. Anthony Hopkins, again, is someone that you look at in real life. He looks nice. He plays a lot of intense roles. Yeah, but nothing like that one. He's so good as Hannibal Lecter. Jack Torrance, yeah, here we go. Every time we talk about horror on the channel, we have to deal with this problem. I don't like The Shining, the film. I think it sucks. I don't like Stanley Kubrick. Honestly, I don't like A Clockwork Orange. I like about half of Full Metal Jacket. I don't like The Shining. I really, I don't like 2001 Space Odyssey, you know? I liked Paths of Glory. Really early one he did, but nope, I generally just don't like Stanley Kubrick. Jack Nicholson, I love. Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance, I think, could have worked. I mean, honestly, he looks old for it. Like, when you watch it back, you look at the book, like it was a blonde wife, and it was like a young, handsome guy he was. Weird. But he did very well as the character. I'll go B. I refuse to go higher. Because I don't like the film, I really don't. But, like, he was so good in it. Pennywise, again, iconic. Better in the book, for sure. It was, you know what, the newer version of it, I was on board. Thought Bill Skarsgård did a good job. I thought it was solid. Then they did part 2, and I hated it. Hated it, part 2. Awful. Just garbage. Again, and Pennywise, it really ruined Pennywise in that one as well for me. Overall, I will go C. Because I did think they did well with Pennywise generally in the first one. And I mean, if you're just including all film versions of it, then Tim Curry, alright. So I'd say it evens out to about a C. But yeah, I mean, goddamn it, part 2. No, Pazuzu, right? Pazuzu, that's the name of the demon in The Exorcist. I'm talking about The Exorcist. I'm primarily talking about Reagan. Because she has it in her most of the time, so she is the villain, really, but isn't, because she's not, you know what I mean. I think, again, The Exorcist is one that ages. I don't think as badly as some others from, like, that time period. Like, the music and the freakiness of the turning and just the atmosphere, the setting of that bedroom, like, how they make that feel in the darkness and the wind blowing and things like that. They do it all so well that you still pick up on that. Even watching it back today, despite it having aged and some scenes feeling, like, strange in the fact that they parody it. They parody it so much. So much. But I'll still go B. Again, B is kind of where we're going if it's iconic, but not maybe great to watch back. Same thing for The Shining. Yeah. And a couple of those others, yeah. That happens. Kevin Wendell Crumb. That really came out of nowhere. James McAvoy. Holy shit. I like James McAvoy as an actor, but, like, Split came out, I was like, oh my god, I have a whole new respect for him. That is astounding. And someone with that kind of split personality disorder, it's such a good idea for a villain, right? I didn't think Glass worked. Unbreakable. It's fine. But I think Shyamalan, this is the one film for me he nailed. Well, Sixth Sense is still good to watch back, but this is the one Shyamalan film I love. I will put him on A, because I feel like they could, if they'd wanted to do, like, Split 2, just instead of, like, Glass, and, like, Split 3 and Split 4. They could have done it with that character. Especially if they had James McAvoy doing it again. Just incredible. I'm gonna forget your name. It's cruel again to say she's the villain of Hereditary, the kid. I mean, she dies, like, it's spoilers. She dies after, like, 20 minutes. But she kind of haunts them onwards, and I guess it's more the grandmother is the villain, really, but generally, Hereditary. It's one of those films I think I have a lot of respect for. Don't necessarily love it. I love Scream. I love, like, the 2018 Halloween. I'm a really big fan of that, and I love lots of Friday the 13th films. I would watch them back anytime. Hereditary, like Midsommar, I don't think I ever want to see again. But I did think it was, like, an incredible experience, weird. As a villain, nothing that special about it as a villain. It's what they did around that that was more special. I'll give it a C. This, again, is 7 a horror film? I think it's as close as a kind of police investigative thriller has ever gotten. I do. And I think John Doe is a great villain. Creepy, weird. Creepier looking back on now because Kevin Spacey. But he's kind of in it so little. It's like a big impact when he turns up. But he is in it so little that as a villain, like, He's maybe not as like he's definitely not as iconic as a lot of these ones. Maybe another C kind of one. When I do these Universal monsters, I'm kind of talking about every cinematic incarnation. I've put Christopher Lee as Dracula here because that's probably the most iconic version. But I'm kind of thinking about every version of the character, like I was for who did I already put on? I put Frankenstein on. Frankenstein was like a B. Dracula, and if you will, vampires in general, is so iconic and has so many great things about it. Also has so many great things about it. I think you have to put Dracula on S, right? You got to. He spawned vampires, and vampires are such a big thing in society and films and pop culture, everything. Like, it's such a big thing, and Dracula's responsible for that. Great book to read back, by the way. Very interesting read. But as a character, especially with like Christopher Lee playing him, classic. So good. But yeah, just any incarnation that's really, really good. I think they're making another new one. Might be calling it like Van Helsing, but it's not like Hugh Jackman Van Helsing. I think they're doing like the story of Dracula again from the original book for a big film coming up. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, he's so iconic. Wolfman. If you think about him as having spawned werewolves, did he really? I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess so. I guess he did. And that is iconic. Werewolves. Great things werewolves are in. I mean, how many, like, great horror films out there, especially more modern day? I guess, like, an American Werewolf in London, that sort of thing, you would include, maybe. But there's not many. There's a great British horror film, if you've never seen it, called Dog Soldiers. That came out in, like, 2002, 2003. And that's actually a really fun one with werewolves. But there aren't actually that many horror films where they focus down on like werewolves. I don't think it's it's more niche than you'd think, because it is like on the level you think, oh yeah, big iconic villains like vampires or zombies or werewolves. But yeah, I'm only going to put that on B, like Frankenstein. I don't feel like it actually does that, like they do it that often, you know what I mean? Weird. Invisible Man. Isn't one that I would have ranked very highly until recently. That new Invisible Man film, that's what that picture's from, if you can't quite see. It's so good. I love the new Invisible Man so much. And a lot of that is down to the themes of like abuse and all of that, more than anything about the characterization of the villain. But it's the fact that he's just invisible and could come at you anywhere. It's like such a gripping sort of terror that really worked phenomenally. So I will put him on A for that film alone. I haven't seen, there is like 1930 sort of horror films that are just the Invisible Man. They haven't done much with it as a character since then, but that new one alone, I'll put him there. Nosferatu's kind of garbage, right? No? Yeah. It's kind of a garbagey version of Dracula. You could just, when you're talking about Dracula, we're kind of talking about vampires in general. But Nosferatu was like something so like separate and different to that. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's very strange to watch back. It's kind of still like creepy, but it's not like, it doesn't feel quite so iconic, really. We'll put it on like C. Damien. The Omen is still freaky to watch because that kid is fucking perfect as Damien. Obviously, they did quite a few other like Omen films, and he was like grown up. They did like Sam Neill played him in like the third one when he was just a grown up. Weird, varied, but the first one, the original Damien in The Omen, that's freaky. And that spawned a kind of, it's not really revisited that often, but they did. There was like an Adam Scott parody one that Netflix did called Little Evil, of like the kid being like the spawn of Satan. That was actually a really fun film. And it is sort of weirdly iconic. Not like hugely so, but I'll give Damien an A as well. He deserves it. Come on. Great stuff. Zombies. I'm not just talking about Army of the Dead there. I know what that's pictured from, but just zombies in general. Again, I mean, to be fair, a lot of those films, especially modern ones, not really horror ones. I mean, that one was a heist one. There are a lot of them that are more just like action and thriller And I mean, it depends where you count the line between thriller and horror as being, because a lot of horror films come out and I'm like, no, that's a thriller, really. But zombies in general, I mean, if we're just marking based on iconicness, then they've got to go S, right? As an actual horror movie villain, probably not. Probably an A, right? They're not. They are iconic as hell, zombies, in modern society. But I'd say that their best work has been in more like games. I like zombies in games. I like Nazi zombies. I like going back. I did it recently for the first time in ages, playing like World at War zombies. Classic. But zombies in films, there's a lot of places where it's really good. There's a lot of places where it's just shit. It's true. Red from Us. Ooh, very interesting villain. It's weirdly like, you feel it's like justified in a strange way, you know, and really creepy, really just creepy. Better as a villain than any of the Get Out villains, you know. Maybe like a B. Maybe like a B. Where did I put the... Oh, no, I put them on a B. Then you know what? I'll put her on A. Yeah. It's just so... It's intriguing, and she is so, like... Lupita, she was good. That was freaky. That was freaky. Jigsaw. Ooh. Jigsaw's... We're putting a lot of these on S, but they are kind of... We grabbed, like, 50 really iconic ones, so it kind of makes sense. Jigsaw is super interesting. It's like Hannibal Lecter. It's a villain where they had them talking a lot. There's a lot he talks. Not so much in the first one, but like in the second one, second Saw is actually really good. And he does a lot of talking. But like, he's still that creepy and freaky and terrifying, and you don't know what he's going to do next, and it's great. Jigsaw is a great villain. Genuinely fantastic. Leatherface. I don't like Texas Chainsaw, guys. I don't like it. I don't feel like Leatherface is ever the main villain in any of those early ones, at least. I've been watching them through recently, and I've watched the first 4. And Leatherface never feels like the main villain. And they just kind of run about for a while, and then they sit down for like a really slow, like 40 minutes finale where they're just talking and laughing and going, hey. And honestly, like, God, I actually prefer, like, the 4th one, whichever one hits, the Next Generation one with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. I prefer that, and it's kind of a parody weird one to any of the other first 3 I've seen. It's weird. I don't like Leatherface as a villain. The whole chainsaw thing, it's like iconic in a weird way, you know, but it shouldn't be necessarily. There's nothing that... Anything, you know, I'm gonna put it in D. That's I think that's fair. I genuinely... What is there to Leatherface? Like, as a whole family, they have, like, a whole vibe and thing going on, but... What is there to Leatherface? It's just, you know... Leprechaun. Yep, no, I hate Leprechaun. So many films. And, until Texas Chainsaw, I didn't think that there could be a series of horror films where I would genuinely just hate them all that much, you know? That's where it's that long, where there's like 8 of them. But Leprechaun, they managed it. Awful. Pieman... Yeah, again. We're reaching it now. I was kind of like, I haven't put many in the bottom couple of tiers, but we're getting there now. I genuinely feel like a lot of these... There's nothing that special about them. Pieman, yeah. Didn't love Pan's Labyrinth. Really weird. Guillermo del Toro is really weird. You either love what he's doing or you do not. And Pan's Labyrinth, yeah. I've never seen it, but I've seen bits. And don't think there's anything that interesting about it. Chucky. Chucky's just such a meme at this point, right? I've actually heard that the new show they're doing is quite good. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but Chucky... He's a weird one, right? He talks, like, too much. Like, they kind of went for, like, a Freddy Krueger vibe for him. And it kind of worked. And it's kind of memey and weird and works at times. And is generally garbage because, you know, a lot of these guys, most of their films are garbage. I feel like you gotta give him like a B. I feel like you gotta give him that much. You know, I think that's fair. I wouldn't go higher, but he's been in enough. He's done enough. That was him, really, that spawned, you know, any, like, other doll-related stuff. That was all on him. You gotta give him credit for that. And blame him for it, because, I mean, God, there's some bad doll shit out there, isn't there? Varric? You know, the special thing about the Conjuring films really isn't the villains. You know, it's kind of like, oh, Annabelle, doll, creepy, freaky. Okay, but it's what you do with, like, the characters around that that's more important, you know? Varric, same thing. The Nun as a film is not great. Him you know, he was kind of across, like, at least the first couple of, like, Conjuring films, he was popping up and things, though, right? Very interesting, very good, very freaky. And kind of iconic. It's kind of like a... Yeah, I wouldn't go much higher than C. I don't think it's, like, overly iconic. The Conjuring is one of my favourite horror films. But it's not like it jumps around, and it is more about the Warrens and, like, the vibe it gives off, and about just possessions, you know? So it feels like, as a villain, you're not that iconic. It's because you were just possessing someone most of the time, you know? I feel like that's the problem with demon-y horror films. They took over for a long time, kind of 10, 15 years there in the noughties and last decade. What are we calling that? The teens. And then there wasn't, like, strong characterization for the actual horror villains, you know what I mean? The evil mother from Coraline. Family horror is something that I haven't really included much of here, huh? But you definitely could. There's some interesting villains there. Predator is S. That's fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I feel like Alien maybe just misses out on S, despite being a better film. Because Predator is just, as a villain, so iconic. You just chuck in any old xenomorph. But Predator, like the Predator 2 Predator, didn't feel that iconic. The Predators Predator, you know, none of them felt that iconic. It was about that first one. The characterization of that was interesting, and, like, the setting and stuff. They're never going to be able to nail that again like they did in the first Predator. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Like, it's just, like, it was such a perfect example of how to make your villain seem so formidable by chucking in all these big strapping guys and just easily kills them off. It's great. I don't love Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's just weird, right? Just so weird. I'm normally on board with really weird. That's so weird. I also hate Jeepers Creepers. I hate Jeepers Creepers. It feels dumb. It feels like it should be more kind of a parody than it is. You know what I mean? It's dumb. That point in the first film where he just like goes, whoop, wings. I'm just like, oh my god. And from then on, it just seemed insane. Just too fucking mental. Stripe, right? Stripe is his specific name. I'm kind of thinking just about like Gremlins in general. Kind of iconic. Oh, like they've kind of got characterization as like a mass of creatures, you know? None of them individually has like that much characterization, except for like Gizmo, I guess. But you gotta give it to them. You gotta give them like a C. You gotta give them a little bit here. It really looks like I'm just trying to avoid going on to a second row here, doesn't it? Well, not going to be able to, but I feel like Gremlins they're pretty solid. Brahms. Brahms, I was interested in. And the twist in the first boy, I liked the boy. I thought I was on board with it. I was like, okay, no, that works. That's good. Good stuff. Excellent. Then the second one really ruined it for me. But if we try and stick mostly to thinking about the first one, I could actually go as high as maybe a C. Maybe a C for him. I can go for a C for him. I thought it was very interesting, the twist in that, and how they did it, and that ending then. I liked the first boy film. Let's not talk about the second one. Carrie, again, I feel like the film original is pretty good, right? It's not like really, really great. It's okay. Are you excited for Fantastic Four reboot? I really want to be. It's like the Batman reboot. It's something that I want to get hyped for, and I want them to be able to put them in this like new proper cinematic universe well, and I imagine they will. I'll wait and see. I'll wait and see. I need to see the cast and stuff, you know, like, I think when I see the cast for it, I'll go, fuck yeah. Gotta wait for that. The Fly, Carrie, I do feel like is another C, probably. And then, honestly, this is The Thing, if you can't tell. It's kind of hard to get a proper picture of The Thing. Honestly, just... No, that's slightly... Yeah, it is a green screen. That is slightly generous to put The Thing on S, because I've been talking about like how some horror films are great, but it's not actually the villain that's that great. The Thing is just about... I mean, it's just Among Us, the film, right? It's about, like, the fear and, like, the gaslighting yourself and, like, the paranoia. It's about paranoia, and I love that so much. It's such an intriguing theme. We haven't seen as many rip-offs of it as you would expect, but it is so iconic. And it's pretty much my favourite horror film. The Thing is probably just my favourite horror film. Who does the pick for the casting for Marvel movies? Oh, I don't know. I imagine they have a lot of people working on that. Especially right now, because they've got a lot of Fantastic Four and then X-Men that they gotta cast at some point, right? But yeah, I think The Thing is, it's, for me, it's one of the, it probably is, I think it's my favourite horror film. I love Alien, and I love Scream. They're right up there, but I think The Thing is my favourite horror film, because it's Kurt Russell, it's just so good. And it's just that paranoia, like, it unnerves you so much. It's so unnerving, and the remote setting is so beautiful, and it works so well. So I love The Thing. There's a lot of... We do not put this many S's up there normally. God damn. It's quite a positive list. If we'd added in another, like, 50 horror movie villains on top of this, they would mostly be down here, yeah. Well, there's not that many more great ones that we've left out, probably, really, but I think that's a pretty good list, you know? I like it. So, thank you guys very much for watching. There's nothing more to say, frankly. We don't need to do anything else there. That is... lovely. Nice list. If you want to see more tier lists, let me know what in the comments or in chat, because I'm still doing one weekly, but it kind of, some weeks I go, oh god, I don't have anything on. Like, you need to specify, you know, there needs to be like specific things. You need to talk about like, oh, best characters from this thing, instead of like general things. I'm running out of like general kind of ones to do. But we'll keep going. We've got like another space next week before Halloween to do a proper other like horror movie related one if you guys want, so let me know what you want to see in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. I will probably stream on Wednesday. I know we normally do the tier list on Wednesday. I'll probably stream tomorrow. Don't know what. If you want something specific, let me know again in the comments, and I will see you guys later.